feeling like I'm Akademiks. Can't ride away.
Going on. Yo, the Boosie and Kanye thing has been kind of like wild, right? So essentially, Boosie dropped a video today, and he's been kind of responding to Kanye, who essentially kind of like, you know what I mean? He was basically saying, I'll play the clip. In the Big Boy interview, he said he's responsible for every type of style, including Thug, including Future. He said he's responsible for other things as well, you know, Drake's and everybody else. And, you know, obviously Future ain't gonna say nothing, even though, by the way, I do think he got a good point about the Future thing, because at first I was saying it was ridiculous, and I think the sound, no. Well, not the sound, but like the type of shit Future does, no, because Future's like, but allowing that sound to exist, we gotta give Kanye the credit of breaking down the barriers that allowed those things to even get an ear. And I think that's where he's going to have that inflated ego. And I got to give it to him, because without him wearing that pink polo, and without him also taking a leap of faith and start to explore certain different type of music, and not only just doing the boom bap sample type of records, we probably wouldn't get a lot of these other type of styles or genres accepted. I'm not saying he created, but accepted. And let me see if I can go back to what he said. I could get his own words. This is what he said. By the way, let's get back on, what do you call it again? On Twitch. Here we go.
Game, I am, but not under Lucian. You know what I'm saying? I done invented every style of music of the past 20 years. I created the genre. I created weekend genre, Trav, Drake. You know, everybody. I'm going ahead and say, with all love, Future and Thug also, because the auto-tune album. 808s. If you think about it, no one think about it. Everybody think about Trav, Weekend, and Drake, but no one thinks about Future and Thug also, the auto-tune album. Now, everyone, they added what it was to it, but here's a new genre. It's called making your own money genre. And of this music game, I am, but not under Lucian.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I done invented every style of music of the past 20 years. I created the genre. I created weekend genre.
Okay.
Trav.
Okay. Trav definitely.
Drake.
Drake, yeah.
You know, everybody. I'm going ahead and say, with all love, Future and Thug also, because the auto-tune album.
Okay.
808s. If you think about it, no one think about it. Everybody think about Trav, Weekend, and Drake.
Okay. Anyway, when he said that, Boosie just came out and would just be like, yo, I think Boosie was like, yo, what this nigga talking about? Like, you know, he didn't create basically what, you know, his type of genre is, right? And let me see if I can find Boosie saying something, and then basically Kanye coming out and saying, all right, yeah, let me amend that. No, I did not create. Okay. He said, this is what Boosie said. Boosie said, not all genres, not every style, not Boosie music. You can't relate to nothing I rap about or your music. Nobody listens to Kanye in the projects or the trenches. I'm going to go ahead and say it. My people don't relate to you. Okay? Okay. Then Kanye corrected himself by saying, I just saw that Wipe Me Down was made in 2007. I take no responsible for whatever that genre would be called. Yo, that is such like a shady comment. He said, yo, I take no responsible for whatever the fuck that is. It's almost like he's calling it trash. You know what I mean? He's like, I take no responsibility for that bullshit right there. That's he said, I take no responsible for whatever genre that would be called. Now, I ain't gonna lie, that set Boosie off, man. Because Boosie then came back and said, the genre of music I make is called Boosie music. It makes you cry, it makes you smile, it makes you dance. It gives you motivation. It makes you think. It really raised people. I really raised people through music. It's real heartfelt music. No rapper has raised more street niggas than me. Is that true, people? I thought Gucci raised a lot of people. I don't know. Okay. What about Snoop Dogg? Maybe not. Okay. I make music that makes you feel like we grew up in the same house together. Wipe Me Down is not a genre of music, it's a song. '07. What? I was almost a decade in. I've been putting out this real heartfelt shit since 98, 99. They just don't give real niggas flowers no more. But I give him to myself. Legend, okay? Now, after that was said, he got back on live and said this.
How many rappers I raised out there, bro? Like, who don't give me my flowers? Everybody quiet, bro. They don't want to be looked at. They don't want to be on my side and be looked at like you supporting Boosie. That's what I be thinking it is. But they'll give Kanye his flowers, people like that. But Boosie, you know, just saying, he talking about black people. In this word, this call this he is white. Ain't nobody raised more mother than me, bro. Not just most of the street athletes. Oh, kind of, bro. Like a lot of just don't vouch for me because they don't want to look like they on my side. You know, that's a side that a lot of motherfuckers don't want to look like they own. They don't want to feel like they got the same judgments as me, you know. They can't no fuck with me making real music. Like, that's a different. When you raise somebody, that's different. It ain't talking about, oh, I like a couple of your songs. It's different. Where rappers can say, who got fans come up to them and say, you raised me. That's different, bro. I mean, if you real these days, people hate on you. Like, people don't like when you real, bro. You know how many rappers I...
Okay. Now, I think Boosie is trying to get in the conversation. I mean, I don't think, again, I think the type of music that Boosie makes, because it's not mainstream, and I think what Kanye was trying to aim to, like, we got to use a little bit of discernment, right? Kanye was talking about mainstream music, bro. Like, he ain't talking about every fucking type of music ever. He's not talking about shit that was before him. Respectfully, Boosie's been doing music before Kanye. That is a fact, right? So, again, I think Boosie wants to be a part of the conversation, but I don't think necessarily Kanye was talking about music that predated him, nor was he talking about every type of music that isn't mainstream. The artists he mentioned, from Drake to Travis to Weeknd to Future and Thug, mainstream artists that most of their music has mainstream appeal. Boosie, while Boosie has a cult following, Boosie does make hood street music, which is very unique to him. And yes, it's almost like a genre called Boosie music. It's not necessarily mainstream as the other artists. Now, granted, some people might be like, well, the nigga said every musical style. We got to use some type of brain power to be like, bruh, it's no way he could think he created some shit that started before he started making music. So I don't think Boosie should have felt offended. Now, a person that did respond was Kid Cudi. Did y'all see what Kid Cudi said? Kid Cudi was, I thought Kid Cudi was, yo, what's up with these pictures Kid Cudi be having, bro? Yo, bruv. Yo, bruv. Bruv. Yo, come on, dog. Yo, what are we doing right now, bro? Bruh, what we doing right now, dog? Anyway, fuck. Man, I ain't gonna lie, man. I used to rock with Kid Cudi music so heavy. Anyway, he had tweeted something out, or hopefully he didn't delete it, but it was basically kind of like, a little bit shady. Not necessarily, I hate using the word shady, but he was kind of subliminally responding, if you ask me, right? Okay, here we go. So remember Kanye said he really, just created everything. And then you see Kid Cudi, he tweets out an article. And let's read this article. We could probably, actually, I think that this is a Wikipedia link or something. I don't know. But it's citing actual articles. It says, acute and often destructive ways, Kid Cudi's sound is what inspired and led Kanye West to create his cathartic 808s and Heartbreak album in 2008, with West later stating that he and Cudi were the originators of the style, kind of like what Alexander McQueen is the fashion. Everything else is just Zara and H&M. Let's actually go find that. By the way, keep in mind, we're calling the governor tomorrow. We got to get Meek Mill off the campaign trail. That's a fact. Okay, let me see. Let's look that up. Everything is Zara, H&M, Alexander McQueen, Kid Cudi. We're going to find, okay, here we go. We want to find the original article. Okay. Yeah. So 2018. Okay, Zara. Okay. Here we go. After those sessions, Kanye excitedly told Complex, oh, never mind. So this is even from an older article. This is from the Kids See Ghosts that happened a few years ago, but apparently, the comment about origination came from 10 years before that when they recorded 808 and Heartbreaks, or at least when Kanye did, right? It says, after those sessions, Kanye excitedly told Complex, do we have a link on that? We don't have a link on it. Me and Cudi are the originators of styles, just like how Alexander McQueen is the fashion and everything else is just Zara and H&M. Okay, since then they've collaborated on a bunch of projects and whatever the case is. Okay. Kid Cudi threw a monkey wrench into my thought process with Kanye. He did. And this is where, without saying any, names, this is where I wish I had, I used to have, some Kanye defenders to go to war with over topics like this, but maybe I could just do it with you guys in the chat. After I kind of went back and I did a lot of research, chat, I think Kid Cudi is the guy. Hey, hear me out. Now, Kanye is a more successful, better artist overall, bigger innovator overall. But most of these styles that Kanye took credit for in that interview really came from Cudi. Kanye worked with Cudi and adopted them. He adopted them and made them mainstream, and Kanye's responsible for changing the whole state of music or the sound of music, but did he come up with those himself? I can't say he did, people. I can't say he did. I'm going to be honest with you. If I am to be honest, Kanye West's ingenuity, it's never, and I'm not hate to describe him because I love Ye. It's never like, oh, he's the actual person that came up with it. He's usually the person bold enough to say, this is what it is. You get what I'm saying? Like, he's been someone who's, I got to word this right because I don't want people to be like, oh, like you're taking credit from him. I'm trying to. Yo, y'all are trolling. Okay, y'all are trolling on the Academy page. Let me go to the other page. Okay, y'all are trolling the chat over there. God damn it. Okay, I'm on the King Akademiks live page now. I got to work off of y'all. Somebody said, what? T-Pain? T-Pain inspired 808s and Heartbreaks? Hell no. Hell no. Bro, this is Cudi, bro. Okay. Hopefully you guys don't take this wrong. Kanye West genius is really comprised of a bunch of other geniuses that Kanye West has almost helped power and fuel, but also in reality, he rode off into the sunset with their creation, if that makes sense. Don't kill me. Don't kill me. Do you get what I'm saying? Kanye, while he's always been bold with what he presents, and he's always broken the mold of mainstream, like the mainstream fabric, we can't act like he's the one who's creating this from his mind. No. Somebody said it was Cudi and T-Pain working on 808s on Heartbreaks. I mean, for some of the auto-tune stuff, like, of course, I'm going to give, like, you know, Pain some credit. But I'm going to be honest with you, 808s and Heartbreak, and I'm giving it more than just the sound, but even, you know, even some of the approach to the content. And okay, this is why it's hard to say this too, because I think that Kanye first inspired, without a Kanye, you don't get a Cudi. This is why, like, again, I know I'm arguing and I'm making a point, but I'm kind of going back on the point too. So I'm kind of feel like I'm running nowhere. So I'm running in place. I think Kid Cudi inspired a lot of the newer sounds and newer iterations of music, but without a Kanye, you don't even get a Cudi. So without Kanye, you don't get a Cudi. So if Cudi then inspires Kanye later on, and then Kanye takes that and runs to the world with it, did Cudi inspire all this, or did Kanye? It's like chicken before the egg. Did that make sense? Like, because it's very easy to, like, when I'm thinking about that sound, at least when it changed, I'm telling you, it's a reason why people used to look at Cudi, and I mean, I still think they do to a certain extent, that he was like this master at that particular like sound and like pocket. And we were waiting for like even more music, and that's why people were pushing the Man on the Moon and all that type of stuff. And from right there, I think that did help inspire Ye. And of course they work together, so there is collaboration there. But I can't say that we get a Kid Cudi if we don't have Kanye in the first place. Am I tripping? Matter of fact, you know, let me get on Discord. Let me try to talk to some of y'all about this. If anybody is on Discord that want to chat about this, I'll be in my room. I don't know if I'm tripping. If anybody has a decent opinion, you guys could move in and let me know. Somebody said the Cudi hate is weird. Yeah, I in hindsight, and this is why they said, you know, to the victor goes the spoils. Because when the tale is all said and done, the person who's most successful writes the narrative, right? It's easy to write Cudi out of the narrative when he's not the biggest artist in the fucking world anymore. Of course. Or, I mean, he never really was the biggest artist in the world, but he's not at the highlight, or he's not at the peak and the apex of his career. How To Man says, you tripping, Kanye takes from everyone, but creates something great with it. Like the difference between Cobra and a Mustang. Okay, How To Man, good point. But that's what I'm trying to say, though. I agree with your point. Thank you for the 20, by the way. I agree with your point. But it's like, imagine if, like, Kanye's Elon Musk, right? Is Elon Musk the motherfucker who's creating all this shit? No, motherfucker. Like, there's smart guys that he probably employs that comes up with shit. My thing is when someone just unilaterally just takes credit for being the only smart, innovative person without passing the ball. If you understand Kanye's career, you should know that his art has always been a product of tons of geniuses behind him. That's a fact. Whether it's 808s and Heartbreaks, whether it's motherfucking My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, whether even going back to even College Dropout, Late Registration, Graduation, there was always other geniuses behind him that helped power those ideas. Great. Maybe he was the one to execute and to bring it to market or whatever, but when you hear him in this realm where he's on some shit like, yo, it's just me. No, it's not just you. I guess maybe that's my biggest problem. He takes credit as if he's the only one. If you're gonna take credit for Travis and Drake, I should hear Cudi's name. I'm sorry, I should hear Cudi's name. Cudi was cut without Kid Cudi. We don't get a lot of that. I'm sorry. Check-in report. Thank you for the 5. It says, Kanye kicked down the door for Cudi. And that's what I was trying to say. I felt I'm running in place because you know the sound that we were talking about. That little emo type of wave that eventually became popular. We got from The Weeknd and Drake. Say You Will, even that, though that came from, 808s and Heartbreaks. Like, before that, that's Cudi. That's Cudi influence, right? By the way, Wale Internet, I do see you in here, so you can talk when you want. That's Cudi influence. And I want to give Cudi some credit for being influential in those sounds that followed. Here's the thing, because you're also right, check-in report, because without Kanye, we don't ever get a Cudi, right? Like Kanye has the luxury of, knowing that without him, all these rappers that are emo probably would have got chased out the game. They would have all gotten chased out the game because people weren't respecting people coming in and with some soft shit. But by that definition, I guess Kanye could say, well, without me, you don't get a Juice WRLD, which technically would be true because he ushered in emo rap, right? Like Kanye literally ushered in emo rap, right? But did he?
Kanye just spoke the truth, and y'all want to be like he didn't.
Okay.
Kid Cudi a bomb. His era was over. The last time he sold good records was with Kanye. Only reason we fuck with the album because of Kanye.
Let me ask you a question then. So your favorite artist, Wale, he created Wale's lane as well too. Because
you're right. It wouldn't be a Wale without Kanye, and I wanted people to say that. A lot of people was like, when Wale came out, he had a lot of rapping wise and ability to make music was similar to Kanye. People were surprised when he signed to MMG. They would say he should have went to Good Music.
Okay.
We wouldn't have Wale without Kanye West. I agree with that. Kanye is the GOAT.
Okay. All right. And I guess in trying to put down this thought or deliver this thought to y'all listening is like, I'm not saying Kanye ain't the GOAT. Y'all do know I always say he is. I just talk about, I think Kanye also gets, this interview was, so arrogant. You know what I mean? And sometimes that arrogance forgets the other people that have made his genius shine, right? Like those great people who have penned some of those verses, who has created some of these songs, who literally brought to you everything. Because, again, when we thinking about musicians, of all the great and genius shit we saying about Kanye might have not wrote a lyric in the last 5 years, period. Kanye has Vori writing for him. Kanye got Consequence writing for him. Kanye got everybody writing for him. You get what I'm saying? But who do we give the credit when we get a great album, which I do think Vultures 1 is dope. Who do we give the credit to? We don't be like, oh, these are great writers who have great ideas. No, we just say Kanye's great, right? And
Let's be honest, Ty Dolla $ign carried Vultures.
No,
but
he did
we give Kanye the credit of being the genius because he's allowed to put everything together, even down to production and engineering.
Carrie says, yo, Ak, I know you ain't calling nobody arrogant. You think I'm arrogant? Somebody said Kanye is an actual artist. And I guess also the reason I'm a little shocked that he, I feel like he almost doesn't want to share credit because I've always looked at Kanye as the opposite of what so many other artists do. Kanye's never cared that you knew that he had writers because for him it was always the overall product, right? Kanye was the guy who I think what made him last, like I don't want to name no particular producers, but think about a lot of producers that was running the sample era. They used to loop samples. There's mad of those guys, right? Kanye was one of the people who were like, hey, this art could be better if instead of trying to loop this like fucking sped up piano sample or whatever, how about I bring in like a trained pianist, or I don't even know how to say the word, but I'll have that person do a interpolation, right? And they're gonna play that fucking thing. I'm gonna bring in an orchestra, right? This is why My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, if you ask me, was so great because it felt grand. And Kanye West he's one of the people who was not shy to say, hey, listen, shout out to this choir. They helped make this album. Shout out to these people. Like, just hearing him in this interview, and by the way, there's other parts of this interview too. I felt like he was just going crazy, like not going crazy, but it's just like I'm gonna lie to you. Did y'all see this? Kanye was telling us why he tight at Jesus. I couldn't believe it. Did you see that part? You ain't see that part, right? The nigga say he had beef with Jesus, bro. Look, here we go.
Times you just want to say, man, not fuck it, but you just want to say, man, this is what I'm feeling right now. Are you in that space where you're comfortable enough to say, this is where I am right now? I'm still a man of God. Jesus still is king, but this is vultures right now. This is where I am.
It is, but I have my issues with Jesus. There's a lot of stuff I went through that I prayed and I didn't see Jesus show up. So I had to put my experience in this world, my experience with my children, my experience with other people, my experience with my account, my experience with my brand, and my experience with the level of music that I was dealing with in my own hands. Like a lot of times I just feel like in our society in America, people, Christians, we'll depend on Jesus so much that we won't put the word in ourselves. And the main thing that really that I don't rock with is like, it's just always like, I'm gonna pray for you. And it's just like, you can actually physically do something yourself too, more than just pray. And we're so in this mentality that's all that needs to happen, but we ain't praying our way out of prison. We ain't praying our way out of the abortion clinics. We ain't praying our way to get our land back that was always ours after gentrification, after the Harlem Renaissance and Black Wall Street was burned to the ground. Them prayers ain't working. We have to apply actual physical building partnerships, and it don't start unless we could really be real with each other and say, this is what I did, this is what I did.
Man, this was crazy.
Then there's sometimes you just want to say, man,
spitting though.
Fuck it, but you just want to say, man, this is what I'm feeling right now. Are you in that space where you're comfortable enough to say, this is where I am right now? I'm still a man of God. Jesus still is king, but this is vultures right now. This is where I am.
It is, but I have my issues with Jesus. There's a lot of stuff I went through that I prayed and I didn't see Jesus show up. So
that was wild to me, man. Once I seen that, I'm like, this nigga can't be beefing with Jesus too, bro. He said, I got my own issues with Jesus. Like, what?
Hey, Ack, he was kind of spitting, bro. Like, it's to the point where, bro.
You beefing with Jesus
what
too?
he was spitting at, Dr. Umar would have been quiet.
Bro, you beefing with Jesus too?
I ain't beefing with Jesus, but he's saying, hey, us as black people, we ain't got our land back. We ain't got our Black Wall Street back from gentrification and everything. Man, I'm like this. Dr. Umar got 24 hours to respond to that.
Man, he don't got to respond to that at all, man.
Man, Dr. Umar still ain't built a school yet.
Hey,
We've been waiting on that.
I think if you're heavy into the faith, man, you just got to realize Yo, Kanye's wilding, bro. Kanye, I think Kanye is one of those people you should already knew he was flying close to the sun once he started, and I'm always weary of any artist once they start using their moniker and start having like a pseudonym that's very close with God. Like I still don't like Hove. You get what I mean? Like Hove is almost like it's a shortening for Hova, which is a shortening for Jehovah, which Jehovah is like literally God. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, you know what I mean? Obviously, he's looking at like the God MC, but like Kanye West, once he went from Yeezy to Yeezus, I do think Kanye was thinking, I'm the closest thing to him, man. I just think, anyway, I don't even want to get too much into like faith and how I think, but just hearing him say, I have my issues with Jesus too. I'm like, nigga, if you don't shut the hell up, you better take your issues to prayer, to God. Anyway, whatever. Okay. I do see some people, kind of kick some knowledge, which, I agree with some of y'all. Maybe that was just me wanting him to share that credit rather than just take for himself. But a story to tell say, bro, Drake and Kid Cudi are evolutions of what Kanye started. He made it cool for male artists to express their actual feelings instead of gun-toting, misogynistic, perfect of previous male artists. Now you're right. Like, of course, that's where the origin of those artists is. And if we're going to say that origin created everything else, fuck it.
You got to remember, Kanye defeated 50 Cent.
Well, that's how we change the narrative. 100%. That's how we change the narrative. Okay. All right. Cool, people. All right, man. Yeah. So, all right. We'll give it to you. But I do think Kid Cudi should get some honorable mention. There's so many people, like for example, like if Kanye technically could say without him, you don't get drill music. But you would be remiss to not mention Chief Keef as somebody who played a big part in drill music being here, right? Like Kanye West has originated or inspired so many things. And by the way, it might be a stretch with the drill music thing.
Kanye wouldn't have never jumped on Don't Like. Chief Keef wouldn't have been as big as he was.
Cap. That's cap. But, I guess that's 50 could say his music spurred drill music. And which, by the way, I remember before he died, God rest his soul, Fredo Santana, he actually said, that came from 50. Like, when he heard 50 Cent Heat, you know what I mean? And 50 Cent was like vividly almost like painting a murder scene. Like, yeah, that kind of inspired it. And by the way, I was just even talking to Poundside Pop, right? And he was talking about how like new age, new day Philadelphia rapping, where all of these young kids in Philly now, they're rapping real live shit that's going on, and it's kind of like embodying what's going on in the community. It's turning to drill music there, and he's like, he was straight up with it. He'd be like, we learned that shit from Chicago. Like, he wasn't even trying like, oh, nah, we just came up. No, like, nah. We saw that shit popping over there. We said, let's get it busy here too. What's popping? We do what we do, right? Goddamn. All right. Anyway, let me see. Yo, did y'all see this? This is crazy. So, speaking of